When we go through the justice system, justice should be served. Hey, it's me, Everything Others. If you're new here, welcome. If you're returning, subscribe. Hey, Uplifters. So I was reading an article from February 2024, and I really wanted to have a conversation about the justice system. Sometimes it can work in our favor, sometimes it don't, especially when it comes down to essay. So a 16-year-old girl was raped. Predator Drew Clinton was convicted, carrying a 4-year minimum sentence in Illinois, and the judge vacated judgment, letting the predator off on time served, which was 5 months. Judge Robert Adrian has now been removed from office. And I want to read some of the article, but I really wanted to open people's eyes to what goes on when it comes down to the justice system and why some people don't report, and how things can work in the favor of the predator depending on who the predator is, who they know, what they have, in a sense. I don't know too much about this case, but I'm going to read along with you guys. I read a little something, but I really want to read this with you. So I'm just going to skim through. The victim of this, or survivor of this case, said that the 2022 decision left her broken, and she applauded the judge's ouster. Okay. Ouster is a whole nother word that I've never really heard before. It's dismissal or expulsion from a position. In a scathing 33-page ruling released Friday, the Illinois Courts Commission, a state oversight board, removed Adams County Judge Robert Adrian from the bench. Adrian sparked outrage 2 years ago by vacating 18-year-old Drew Clinton's SA conviction, a charge stemming from a graduation party in May 2021 in Quincy, Illinois, where he was accused of assaulting Cameron V. I'm not going to try to pronounce her last name. Cameron V, then 16. She said she cried and cried so much about reading the commission's ruling. After a 3-day bench trial in October 2021, Adrian originally found Clinton guilty of 1 count of criminal SA, a felony carrying a mandatory minimum sentence of 4 years in prison. Mandatory? Mandatory. A few days into 2022, in a stunning move from the bench, Adrian announced that he was reversing himself and letting Clinton walk free. According to court transcripts, Adrian said the defendant's nearly 5 months in county jail was plenty of punishment. When I hear stuff like this, and I hear how some people will pretty much be on the side of the predator when it's actually known that they are a predator and the evidence is there and all that stuff, it gives me the vibe of, are you a predator too? Do you condone in the BS of someone raping or essaying someone? Like, it just gives me those vibes. Adrian said, by law, the court is supposed to sentence this young man to the Department of Corrections. This court will not do that. That is not just. This is no way for what happened in this case that this teenager should go to the Department of Corrections. I will not do that. Why shouldn't he go there? He SA'd a 16-year-old. He SA'd anybody. It doesn't matter the age, but a 16-year-old. He was 18. Why shouldn't he be put in prison for what he did? What makes him different than the next person? Because of his age and he was innocent, he had his whole life ahead of him? Like, what gives you the right to do such a thing? Let a predator walk when, since he got away this time, maybe he feel like he can get away again. Tammy, who had prepared a victim impact statement that she wasn't allowed to read, said she ran from the courtroom in tears as her father followed. She said the attack had an immediate impact on her life. Of course, like being victimized and traumatized and then going to court and hearing this, heartbreaking. There was no evidence, nothing new to make him change his mind. She said, I was very depressed and on medications for trying to help with my nightmares, and I was just very, very sad. Adrian, which is the judge, said he stood by his reversal but clarified his rationale. He said he vacated Clinton's guilty verdict not to keep him out of prison, but because he'd reconsidered the evidence and decided prosecutors had failed to prove their case. Now, make that make sense. Why would I want to send a person who's not guilty to the Department of Correction? Of course, I'll reverse, he said. There's a lot of judges that wouldn't. They wait and say, oh, well, if I made the mistake, the appeals court will straighten it out. He was asked whether he'd do anything differently with 2020 hindsight. Adrian didn't waver. I'd explain it different, he said, but I still wouldn't send him to the Department of Correction. Clinton was not guilty, and that's the whole key. See, that's what nobody wants to do. Nobody wants to actually look at the evidence in the case. I mean, what case would there be if it was no evidence? It wouldn't be a case, right? You have to go through different steps in order to even make a case. In order for the DA to bring a case to a judge, they have to have all the evidence, anything they need to make a case, they need the evidence. So if there was none, then they probably would have been denied, right? He added, I made a mistake and I corrected the mistake. So now you know, you want to chastise me for correcting my mistake, go ahead, but I can't help but people are human. We make mistakes, I correct mine. No, I feel like maybe it's given this. I'm being very, very just like honest and transparent and not trying to be judgmental, but it's given like he was paid to reverse everything. It was the fact that somebody convinced him to change his mind, and he did that. He also said, nor do we accept respondent's contention that he made a mistake in finding Clinton guilty. The commission wrote, respondent claimed that he began to consider whether he had mistakenly found Clinton guilty immediately after the trial, but then he did nothing for months while Clinton remained in jail. Cameron maintained she was assaulted by Clinton, who she says put a pillow over her face while she slept on a friend's couch after drinking. Clinton declined to comment for this article. He maintains his innocence through his attorney. Even though the system didn't produce her desired result, a trial, Cameron says she considers Adrian's dismissal another form of justice. He hurt me, she said about Adrian, whose removal was effective immediately. He changed my life and nothing happened to him. He needs to see what he did to me, how he made me feel, and know that I'm the reason you're not a judge anymore. That just gave me chills, like reading that. Like, I wish that was like, of course, Clinton should be in prison for what he did. But instead of that, the judge is no longer a judge to allow predators free. That has to be some form. Like, of course, it's healing that needs to be done with Cameron. Of course, things need to change in the justice system. I feel like we're making strides to that, and we're trying to be more mindful of the victims and survivors. But there's some people that are judges, that are prosecutors, that are DAs, that are defense lawyers. They do not see things for what they really are. Like, of course, people still have the mindset of boys will be boys, that maybe females can't be predators. They have the mindset of not wanting to see the truth for what it really is, and that's not okay. I feel like the justice system just has to do better for survivors and victims of SA of any kind. Doesn't matter gender, doesn't matter how old, how young. I just feel like so much work still has to be done. But let me know you guys' thoughts on this case in the comment section. Thanks for watching. Make sure you like, comment, share, and subscribe.